Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm Mike Inochu Pro.
And I am Taka Michinoku.
Oh, look at that. Birds of a feather.
To episode 114, Super J Cup.
First stage.
Is there a second stage?
Yes.
Yeah, second next year.
Woo!
Lord willing.
I don't know how this works. This is my first Super J Cup.
Mine too. I mean, it's the first time I've watched this one.
First time
I've watched a couple of the last couple of years with J Cups.
It's a thing that's still happening today.
Oh, yeah. There's even a second one. There's the U.S. J Cup on New Japan Strong.
But this was the first Super J Cup and was hosted by New Japan Pro Wrestling. It would take place on April 16th, 1994, from Sumo Hall in Tokyo, Japan, with an attendance of 11,500 people.
Yeehaw, I love to see that place. Ryogoku, baby. We're here.
Good numbers.
So to kind of explain what the Super J Cup is, it was a tournament that was created by Jushin Thunder Liger,
Liger!
and it would only feature junior heavyweight wrestlers from many different promotions, including War, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling,
FMW.
Social Progress Wrestling Federation.
That was one where I was like, I don't know SPWF, but okay.
CMLL, Michinoku Pro, and New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah. You got anything on SPFW, or are you just going to save that for later?
It's a federation that supplied someone to this.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Are they a standout someone, or did we totally miss them?
We'll find out when we get here. Get through here. I got all the affiliations for each guy right next to their name in my thing,
I didn't do that.
Yeah, I got you.
Not either.
I got you. I'll tell you where they came from.
All right.
Because as I've discussed before on the Japan shows, I can't really understand what they're saying. So
Oh, yeah.
taking notes while watching is difficult because you miss something. So I just try and
Focus on the wrestling.
Up head.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in Japan, and even though we can't speak Japanese, we can eat delicious goodies.
We can. Yeah. So, Japan is sometimes a problem coming up with food ideas.
We are very landlocked.
Yes, we are very landlocked, and we have to rely on oftentimes Oklahoma versions of Japanese cuisine. And today I attempted that. The first place I wanted to go to closed way too early, so I couldn't get there in time to get the goodies that I originally wanted. So I tried somewhere else, and they were not as successful, so I would rather not discuss them whatsoever. But luckily, our own Michael, I can't remember his name that he gave.
Mike Inochu Pro!
Mike Inochu Pro. Yes, my Michinoku brother. He came through with his own little goodies here, so I'll let you talk about these because I honestly don't know too much about them.
In Japan and in other parts of in other Asian countries, the company Nestle, who created the Kit Kat, makes weird flavors over there, and I happen to have some from a sumo watch-along left over.
Hell yeah!
And we've got some salt and lychee flavored Kit Kats. So bust these open. It is a white mini Kit Kat. It's white on the outside, or white chocolate, and I imagine that the lychee flavor is on the inside.
Ooh, I'm looking at the... Okay, it does say Kit Kat on there.
Yeah.
Like, does it actually say Kit Kat, or is it something in a different
It
language?
is a real Kit Kat.
Yes.
I was just hoping it would have a different language written on there. But hey, let's try this little salt and lychee.
It's been a while since
Kit
I
Kat.
tried one of these. It's very good. It tastes like a flower smells, but in a good way.
Yes.
It kind of feels like a good palate cleanser.
Like my first initial thought with this is I mean, I wasn't one who had soap in my mouth as a kid very often. But
Okay.
if it tasted like this, I wouldn't have minded as much because it has that little floral.
It's kind of one of those things where
citrusy scent.
Like,
to
it tastes like a really good candle smells, but in a good way and not a bad way, right?
Yeah,
That's a good way to put it. But it tastes very floral.
Yeah.
To me.
Very floral. You get a little salt, a little sweet, a little citrus.
It's kind of
It's
like
got the Kit Kat in there, which is
it's kind of like a heavy drenched like rose water baklava, but like flavor wise, but lighter and wrapped in salty white chocolate.
definitely an upgrade from the whatever the hell that was that I got before.
Mediocre teriyaki chicken.
Yes.
I don't know what they actually said it was, but we won't out them. We're not like that.
Everybody has a bad day, so we'll just let them have their bad day, and we found something different instead. So.
Meltzer wants to call me, I'll tell him. But something that is interesting is what happened right around the same time as the Super J Cup. Offspring's debut album, Smash,
Oh, hell yeah.
would be released the week before, containing such tracks as Come Out and Play, Self-Esteem, and Gotta Get Away. And over time would become the best-selling independent label album of all time.
That's insane.
I know, it's pretty crazy considering how much nobody gives a shit about. There's no Offspring stands now. There's still people who are like, yo, this Green Day run was really good, but people aren't like, hey man, the first couple Offspring records really hold up, but whatever, fucking Noodles got paid. I assume it was on Epitaph, but Dexter Holland, I believe, was the guy that had Nitro Records, and I had a handful of Nitro record CDs as a kid because I liked punk and pop punk type things. So I liked the Vandals and the first like AFI record before they got moody. But I never got way into the Offspring.
I mean, I like them. I wasn't a huge follower or anything like that, but I mean,
I have a
play Self-Esteem, and then later on, they're pretty fly for a white guy. I mean, they had some catchy.
I have a
shit
lot of friends that are a year or two older than me, where like Smash was like the album that like busted them open into like rock music, but it wasn't the one for me at all. And Self-Esteem is just the Smells Like Teen Spirit riff. But I guess a lot of songs are just that riff.
Yeah, I mean, they were very big on I think they had those little brain worms or whatever it was, where they had those little beats or whatever that get stuck in your head. Because
I will say that Smash is definitely better than when they switched to the poppy stuff, like what is the one is like her girlfriend. Yeah, but that one stinks. But what's the one after that? Like My Girlfriend's a Bitch or whatever.
I think that's still pretty fly for a white guy, isn't it?
Are you talking about that?
The one
my
that
friend's got a girlfriend and I hate that bitch.
Yeah, that song sucks. And then they do
my friend Aaron actually had that song saved as my best friend's ringtone because we all hated his.
Smash is a lot better than that album that when they went on to do, where it was like the what is it? TRL era Offspring.
I can honestly say I think those two songs and the three songs that I listed here are the only songs that I've ever heard of Offspring.
Oh, okay. Well, I would say
unless they did some kind of like cover of something or other.
I can't think of any. Offspring means a lot to some people. Doesn't mean a whole lot to me. Pretty impressive that it's one of the best independent, or the best-selling independent label album of all time, and also kind of a bummer, because as a guy who mostly listens to music that comes out on independent labels, this one isn't for me. Just saying.
Let's see. We got Pretty Fly for a White Guy. Why Don't You Get a Job?
Yeah, that's the one. That one stinks.
Gone Away.
They have there's a song on Smash where they just say a bunch of curse words.
Original Prankster.
Where it's like they just like shit, piss, fuck, cunt, or whatever. It's like pre.
I think they had a song on Batman
style.
Forever soundtrack.
Let's see.
Joel Schumacher was a fan.
They had one on the Orange County soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well then I guess I've heard a few more Offspring songs.
It could have been one of these songs, though.
Yeah, I know they've been on a few.
Oh, really? I saw Orange County in the theater, but I don't remember anything about it.
So I'm like trying to picture.
I used to be a big soundtrack guy.
Yeah.
You could just get a whole bunch of.
Also, like 90s soundtracks are a different thing. It's like, okay, the Angus soundtrack.
Rock.
Angus soundtrack, really good. It's got a bunch of good rock tunes on it.
Empire Records, I fell in love with that movie because of the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And then it just. I think I love the movie more than the soundtrack now, just because it's Empire Records. Damn, the man saved the empire.
What's your favorite track on that soundtrack? I don't even know the soundtrack. I've seen the movie a bunch of
I
times.
mean, it has my favorite Gin Blossom song on that album, so.
Which one's that?
Is it Hear It From You?
Yeah.
Oh, I just love the, like, we can drive around this town as the cops chase us around. Like, Hey Jealousy,
Hey, Jealousy.
is such a good song. Such a good fucking chorus. Gin Blossom's rule.
You've got Say No More, or Say No More, Mon Amour.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that one song? Love Struck Romeo.
We learned something tonight. None of us are really Offspring fans. Sorry, Dexter and the gang. But we're pro Gin Blossom.
I'm not a huge Offspring
So there's
fan,
that.
but I do like some of their stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't a punk kid, so.
Yeah, I definitely was, but this wasn't one for me. And I've always went the weird directions because I didn't have any friends that like showed me stuff or like older siblings. I just came across things. So the things that imprinted on me are not like really of the time. They're just like albums that I bought and like got and I really liked a lot, but it was either older or it was like an album that was not the popular one from the band or like the better selling one or whatever. Yeah. So, but Offspring smash. Maybe I'll give it a listen tomorrow morning at work. Maybe it'll be the cup of coffee I need for a Monday.
You're old enough now.
Maybe I'm too old now.
Well, let's move on to Super J Cup and talk some Japanese wrestling.
Bring me into Sumo Hall, one of my favorite places to watch really any sporting event that I like, and there's only two kinds I like. Fake wrestling and fat boy push wrestling. Sumo.
And those both happen in Sumo Hall.
Yeah, sure do.
So basically, these are all New Japan World. They just literally go straight into matches. It's not a pay-per-view style. Like you can't just. It's not like on the WWF networks and whatnot where you click on the show and it's like the whole show. This is the match. You can go to the collection of the matches and click on them, but you have to click on the next match. You can't just pick the show and it plays. Yeah. So, but there is if you go out there is a tape of the entire show, like
the most traded tape. Like it's coveted.
I wish they would do the lineup of them differently on the little streaming service.
Oh yeah.
I don't like how
you had to click around.
Well, I mean, not just the click around part, but because they list them match by match, you kind of know who's made it through before you know who's actually in it.
I mean, you can read that like it was first round.
Match. I tried to. I spoiled myself in one, but I tried to keep myself from spoiling. Like I didn't know who was gonna win all but like one match, and I was like, But it was because I had to click back and forth. If they had them all in order, I wouldn't have thought about it. And I would have closed my eyes and clicked because I'm that kind of guy where it's like, I don't want to know.
Same.
But our first match is Gedo versus Dean Malenko.
Gedo of War and Dean Malenko of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
This is a first round matchup.
And look at little Gedo.
He is a Wrestling Observer newsletter Hall of Famer.
Look at old Malenko.
While Malenko is a hardcore Hall of Famer.
He's hardcore.
That's his only Hall of Fame?
I was shocked as well.
I guess Malenko, of that core group of friends, your Eddies, your Benoits, your Jerichos, he is the one that is the lead, that like has the least accolades. Sadly. I mean, we all know that.
He's the man of 1,000 holds, though. Yeah.
The thing is we're getting to a point in time where people aren't really into holds.
I was into holds.
I'm into holds. I'm not saying, not throwing shade.
But Gedo, also, if you know a little bit about current day New Japan Pro Wrestling, he is actually the booker of New Japan and has been for, I'd say, about the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, the man with the golden pen most of the time.
It's been rumored that he always has a 2-year plan.
Oh, yeah. Well, right now,
some other places and people could learn a lot from him.
Yeah,
seems.
But, COVID gets in the way.
Plan usually.
Yeah.
If they're lucky.
But the two men shake hands, which we'll see a lot of because these wrestlers have respect for each other.
We're in Japan, and it's also promotional. That's what I'm looking to say.
Yeah, no need to show up in army uniforms with tanks. Just get in the ring and shake hands.
But when the bell rings, Dean hits multiple drop kicks to send Gedo to the floor. Back in the ring, mat wrestling breaks out with several reversals as both men try for cross arm breakers, arm bars, and head scissors.
It's a battle for the arm.
They make it back to their feet where Gedo takes control with kicks and chops, only for Dean to fight back with forearms and an elbow drop for 2. Malenko starts working the head and neck of Gedo with several different submission holds until he gets to the mat with a dragon sleeper for a 2 count. Gedo with a rake of the eyes and multiple headbutts. Dean fires back by ramming Gedo into the turnbuckle and hitting a delayed vertical suplex.
Brainbuster! Which we're going to hear a lot tonight.
Before applying a figure 4 neck lock. Only for Gedo to escape and transition into an STF, but Malenko makes it to the ropes. The 2 trade blows until they can run into each other for a double KO, but Dean is up first, looking for a tombstone piledriver. Only for Gedo to reverse into one of his own and heads up to the top rope. Gedo then comes off with a diving headbutt, but Malenko avoids and clotheslines Gedo for a 2 count. Gedo charges into a corner after a reversed Irish whip, but Dean has jumped to the apron to avoid before coming off the top rope with a crossbody for a 2 count. Another reversed Irish whip by Gedo, but he telegraphs the back body drop.
Don't do it.
Allowing Malenko to kick him and come off the ropes with a flying shoulder tackle. Only for Gedo to catch him and deliver a power slam for the pin and the win.
And I was like, okay, well, I didn't expect Malenko to win in first round, and he kind of looked disappointed.
Yeah.
In his little sad eyes.
I'm not going to lie, I was kind of disappointed too. I mean, Big Daddy Dean in there. I kind of wanted him to win.
I love Gato's like loose pajama gear, though. It's like a wide red cutoff shirt and baggy pants. He's got a fun look.
So we head to our second match of Super Delfin versus Shinjiro Otani
of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Super Delfin is a Michinoku pro man, a masked man, a Delfin, if you will.
And this is another first round matchup, of course.
And I was thinking, is Otani a lion? He's got the black shorts on. I was thinking that maybe he's a young lion.
I wouldn't be surprised because he is still wrestling to this day.
Yeah,
he literally had a match yesterday.
Okay, I had a feeling that he was like a young lion that from the New Japan dojo that they put in this tournament because he's probably ending about to graduate, if you will.
Yeah.
And also, Delfin had a belt around him. Do you know what it was? I assume it was just obviously a Michinoku Pro belt.
Probably.
I assume he wasn't the champion, but it might have been like a light heavyweight champion or what have you.
Otani attacks before the bell, working the leg of Delfin, moving from leg submission to leg submission.
Really going for it.
Super Delfin tries to escape with a rake of the eyes, but Shinjiro doesn't waver from the submissions, so Delfin has to crawl to the ropes to break the hold. Otani goes right back to the legs, locking on a single leg crab, but again Super Delfin makes the ropes. Delfin hits a drop kick, follows it up with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, but Shinjiro is too close to the ropes for a pin. So Super Delfin goes for a second one, only for Otani to counter into a roundhouse kick and a spinning heel kick, sending Delfin to the floor.
And I'm pumped. What a fun way to get this going.
Lots of good stuff. Delfin kind of gives me I know he's New Japan and everything, but he just gives me a Rey Mysterio.
Oh yeah, Delfin's Michinoku
kind of
I got
vibe.
definite Ultimo Dragon.
Yeah, he's actually Michinoku Pro. The other guy's the New Japan guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shinjiro dares Super Delfin to come back into the ring, even holding the ropes open for him.
I know. I was like, if this guy's a young lion, he is on top of the world right now.
Once back in, Otani goes back to work on the leg, but Delfin escapes each time by reaching the ropes. Super Delfin hits a back suplex and a stalling brainbuster.
This longest stall stays so very long. I love it.
Delfin goes for another suplex, only for Shinjiro to flip over and hit a dropkick to send Super Delfin out to the floor.
Back out there, buddy. Get out there.
Otani follows out with a springboard body press before tossing Delfin back in the ring to hit a springboard dropkick for a near fall.
Slingshot from the apron.
Shinjiro with another dropkick, but to the knee. He applies a knee bar, but again, Super Delfin is able to make the ropes. So Otani just pulls him to the middle of the ring and locks the knee bar back on.
Yes, I love it when somebody drop kicks the knee of somebody and immediately goes to a hold, because that like bump always looks devastating when you drop kick the knee as opposed to the chest for a back bump.
Super Delfin is whipped to the corner, with Shinjiro charging into a big boot. Delfin then hits a tornado DDT before cradling up Otani for the pin and the win.
Well, I mean,
if he was a young lion, then we should have known Delfin was going to win.
Yeah.
But Otani looked impressive.
He looked really, really good, like, for sure. I loved how cocky he was, and I was like, how do I not know who this guy is? I know who Delfin is. But yeah, we're ramping up. First match, fine. Second match, my posture was getting better as I was leaning towards the television.
Same. Yeah, I hadn't seen either one of these guys before. You know, in the first match, I at least knew who Dean Malenko was. So these two, they definitely caught my attention. You know, and it was a quick match too. I mean, it went.
That's the great thing about this
show.
Whatever, we get 9-minute matches that you're like, I can't believe they did all that in 9 minutes. And like every match is basically 9 minutes until we get, of course, later into the card. But like.
I think there's only 3 matches that go over 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's crazy what they do in the time. Like, I can't believe they pulled all this off.
Then we roll into this next match where it's like, holy shit, I know this guy, and holy shit,
I know this guy!
I know this guy too, and I didn't realize it at first. I kind of forgot that I knew him.
Yeah.
Speaking of, which is our third match of Taka Michinoku.
Of Michinoku Pro.
Versus Black Tiger.
Of NJPW.
Black Tiger!
In a first round matchup. And we've seen Black Tiger before. Obviously, if you don't remember, he's Eddie Guerrero. But we saw him show up at the G1 Climax 93 at episode 97. Match starts off fast with an arm drag, snapmare, and Black Tiger rubbing his boot in Taka's face.
Oh, the boot rub.
Yeah, so that
put out the cigarette on his face. So good.
Pretty little baby face.
Oh, Taka Michinoku, so handsome in 94.
Tiger continues the attack with a body slam, a slingshot senton, and a power bomb for a 2 count. Black Tiger with a running back elbow and a neck breaker for another near fall, before applying an ab stretch. And as soon as Michinoku is about to escape, Tiger knocks him down with a clothesline and locks on a sharpshooter.
No offense from Taka yet. He's getting the beat down.
Taka escapes and begins to fire back.
There we go.
But Black Tiger hits a running clothesline before tossing Michinoku to the ropes, where Taka goes for a top rope springboard moonsault, but he ends up flying over Tiger.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Black Tiger charges at Michinoku, but he walks into a head scissors takedown that sends him flying out of the ring. Taka looks like he's going to jump off the ropes after him, but instead just does another springboard moonsault back into the ring to the crowd's pleasure.
Oh, flex on him. He loves to flip.
Back in the ring, Tiger clotheslines Michinoku to the corner, tries for a second one, but Taka flips over him before hitting a snap belly to belly, followed by a drop kick to send Black Tiger back out to the floor.
That snap belly to belly. So quick, so clean.
This time, Michinoku does follow out with a springboard body press. Goes to bring Tiger in with a vertical suplex, but Black Tiger flips over him, going for a German suplex, which Taka counters into a bridging German suplex of his own for the 2 count. Michinoku hits a standing Frankensteiner for a near fall, goes for an Irish whip, which is reversed, and Tiger hits a pop-up powerbomb for a near fall of his own. Tiger with a body slam goes to the top for a frog splash for a 2 count.
I love that these guys are just suplexing the living Christ out of each other, but every single suplex is followed reasonably by a cover, as opposed to it's like, okay, well, I cover him right now. That's the right thing to do.
Black Tiger then picks Taka up for a body slam, but Michinoku counters by turning it into a sunset flip for a 2 count. Taka hits a thunder fire powerbomb for a near fall. Snap moonsault, 2 count. Goes for another, but Black Tiger gets his knees up, so he hits a brainbuster. Tiger then hits a tornado DDT
from the second rope.
for the pin and the win.
Damn, dudes. Each match just keeps getting better.
Yep.
It's one of those things where I'm like, yo, I'm really loving this, but I guess because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, the smaller guys are like kicking out of this stuff. So, okay. But I could see people complain and be like, well, they're just kicking out of everything. I was like, well, they're smaller. Their blood runs faster.
So we're headed to our fourth match. Masayoshi Motegi
Of SPFW.
versus El Samurai.
Oh, very nice. Of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
In another first round matchup. Motegi lands some drop kicks as the bell rings that sends some Samurai out to their floor. So Masayoshi follows out with a tope suicida, runs back into the ring, leaping up to the top rope for another move, but he loses his balance to fall back into the ring.
I love when there's the fumbles like that where it's like, yo, it makes sense, but they don't really call attention to it. It's like, yeah, you're going to make mistakes when you're doing wild shit like that.
Yeah.
And I think that it adds to tension, whereas I feel like now everybody looks at it and they're like, oh, no, he fucked that up. And it's like, it's supposed to be a contest between two guys. Like, if it's too clean, that's a problem. And if you redo the spot, that's a problem.
Yeah,
I like those kind of flubs when they just when they're smart enough to keep going,
yeah.
and it doesn't hold them back.
And that's one of those, for the longest time, pro wrestling has had the stigma of everybody calling it fake, whereas, that's a real thing happening in the moment. So,
yes.
It's...
And there's also two guys. It's not like our hour-long ECW match we watched recently where there was some flubs, but it's like, okay, well, he'll just roll to the floor for a while.
Samurai returns to the ring, and the two trade arm locks, leg locks, and chin locks before El Samurai hits a pile driver and a back suplex for a 2 count.
It's a guy got to do to get a trap hold.
I guess you got to be bigger.
Samurai applies a Boston Crab, only for Masayoshi to power out into a pin attempt, which El Samurai counters into a pin of his own.
I love the chest sit pin. Always loved that.
But they're in the ropes. Motegi takes Samurai to the mat with a headlock, but is continuously pulled over for pin attempts until El Samurai reverses into a head scissor. Samurai hits a tombstone pile driver.
Ooh, even does the taker pin.
But that only gets him a 2 count.
Laziness.
The two men start brawling when Masayoshi goes for a clothesline, only for El Samurai to counter with an inverted DDT suplex for a near fall.
Yeah, I was like, what is this suplex? It looked awesome, but I didn't know what it was. Inverted DDT suplex?
I looked for a real name, but I was just like...
That's the closest I could get?
That's the closest I could come up with.
Mine says wild suplex. Not sure what it is, but...
I like it.
But Moshi landed right flat on his face. Face down. It was brutal.
Samurai with a drop kick that staggers Masayoshi, tosses him to the ropes, and goes for a second drop kick. But Motegi holds onto the ropes, sending El Samurai flat to the mat. Masayoshi then hits a drop kick of his own, putting Samurai against the ropes, following with a clothesline, only for El Samurai to duck, tossing Motegi out to the floor. Samurai hits a tope suicida.
Oh, right between. I love it when they fly between the second and third rope.
Brings Masayoshi back into the ring with a vertical suplex before heading up top to hit a missile dropkick for a 2 count.
A deep one.
El Samurai then goes for a Frankensteiner, but Motegi reverses it into a power bomb for a near fall.
Yeah, wild.
Before applying a Romero special and transitioning it into a Dragon Sleeper. Back to their feet, Masayoshi is running the ropes where he goes for a tilt-a-whirl head scissors, but ends up just being a really awkward body press.
Yeah.
Motegi follows up with 3 German suplexes, but
3.
on the third one,
3 amigos.
Samurai counters with a roll-through for a 2 count. El Samurai then ducks a clothesline, and the two trade waist locks until Samurai hits a bridging German for a 2, followed by a Thunder Fire powerbomb for the pin and the win.
Loving between the last show and this show, the amount of German suplexes, and then we get a lot of other fun suplexes on this show as well. But German suplexes aplenty. If that's a spot you love, this is a show you need.
And see, for some reason, when I read the name El Samurai on the notes, I was picturing, what the hell is that guy's name? Not Tex Slazenger, but
Shanghai Pierce.
Shanghai Pierce. Thank God Shanghai Pierce is in here.
So yeah, when I first saw that, I was like, wait, I was just asking about him. I was thinking he had gone to ECW or whatever. I guess he came here, and then this guy came on the screen. It's like, oh wait, no, I've seen him before.
Yeah.
I saw him on one of the last New Japan shows.
We then go to our fifth match. Ricky Fuji
FMW.
versus Negro Casas.
Which, is he the one SPFW or
I think
whatever?
he's CMLL.
Yeah, he's CMLL, that's true. He trained Rocky Romero. Got to get that in there.
And this is a first-round matchup as well. Negro Casas, along with training Rocky Romero, is a Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he comes from a long family of Casas. Like his father, I believe it was his father, was...
I'm sure they had houses.
Yes. And his house was painted black.
Yeah, apparently he grew up in black houses.
Uh-huh. But...
He's got dark hair, too. That's all I really know about him.
Yeah. I love Ricky Fuji's look.
I'm sure that's why I remember which one was which.
Yeah. I love Ricky Fuji's look, how he has, like, the leopard pants and the, like, half-bleach, like, hair where he, like, didn't leave it in long enough.
Yeah.
And it's got a real good face. He kind of gives me, like, Hiromu vibes in a way. Of course,
so
he's not
like
that.
Japanese David Lee Roth or something.
Oh,
like that.
yeah. He's got a total... He's a rocker.
The Casas would hit a drop kick to get it started, but Fuji would recover to gain control with an armbar, only for it to be countered into a headlock, which is countered back into a head scissors, which Negro escapes to apply an STF, only for Fuji to make it to the ropes. The two continue with more head scissors, headlocks, until Casas hits a stiff kick and a clothesline for a 2 count. Ricky starts working the leg after taking Negro down, only for Casas to counter into a Dragon Sleeper before hitting a body slam and a standing senton for a 2 count. Negro continues with a drop kick to send Fuji out to the floor before leaping off the top rope with a single sledge.
Not much air.
Back in the ring, Ricky with a backbreaker, scoop slam, and a top rope double axe handle for 2, followed by a snap suplex for a 2 count as well. Fuji tries for another suplex, but Casas flips over, takes Ricky to the mat, and rolls him up with a magistral pin for a near fall. Negro continues with a top rope senton splash. Goes for a second one, but Fuji has rolled out of the way. Ricky then goes on the offensive with multiple clotheslines, kicks to the gut before hitting a tiger driver for the pin and the win.
Quick, easy pin there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one ended a little quicker than I...
This one was like, it's like,
Oh,
okay,
kinda.
like, we've had some highs, but this one is more on par with the first match. We're like, okay, well, we just got to get through a couple of these. Not bad, a little better than the first one, but not as good as some of the things we've seen and where we're heading.
Yes.
And then we're off to our 6th match. Hayabusa
Of FMW.
versus Jushin Thunder Liger.
The J the J of the Cup of New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you don't know him, what are we even doing here?
In another first round matchup.
And it was fun to have our close personal friends, Kevin Kelly and
Gino Gambino.
Gino Gambino. I was like, it wasn't Chris, it was Gino. On the commentary.
So that's why there was 2 versions of it on there.
Did
Yeah.
you watch the Japan version?
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was just fun because
I'm reading this and I'm like,
yeah.
wait, I
Kevin,
don't remember hearing somebody talk that I could understand.
Yeah, Kevin is
I just remember sitting on it, got on the edge of my couch going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Oh god, yeah.
It's like Power Rangers happening in front of me.
So there are 2 versions on New Japan World, the Japanese version, but Kevin Kelly and Gino Gambino probably in the last year or so.
Yeah, I think they did it because Liger was retiring, so they went back and did some English commentary for the New Japan World for different Liger matches.
So you'll find some random English commentary on matches throughout New Japan that are recorded nowadays. So it almost becomes part history lesson, part play-by-play. Mm-hmm. Because obviously they know
it's already happened. So
they're
going back in here and they're telling you about Hayabusa and Liger and where they are in their careers and stuff, and you know.
So as Liger takes his cape off, Hayabusa attacks with a drop kick and a spinning heel kick to send Jushin to the floor.
Yeah, this one starts right off.
Oh yeah.
Where Hayabusa follows out with a Tope Kongiro with his coat still on. Liger is tossed back into the ring where Hayabusa continues the attack with a top rope dropkick to the back of the head before applying a double arm stretch, hitting a body slam and a leaping leg drop. Hayabusa with a leg lock, knee drop to the leg, only for Jushin to avoid a second try, then tosses Hayabusa to the ropes before kicking his leg out from under him and applying a figure four. But Hayabusa makes it to the ropes to break the hold. Liger with several palm thrusts, a power bomb for a 2 count, and goes to work on the leg, which Hayabusa slaps Jushin to escape the hold.
Getting dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Liger with a clothesline and goes back to the leg, but Hayabusa escapes quickly to apply a headlock, only for Jushin to counter with a back suplex and a cannonball kick in the corner. Liger hits a superplex, followed by some hard strikes to stagger Hayabusa, whipping him into the corner, but Hayabusa flips out, ducking a clothesline and hitting a spinning heel kick and a drop kick for a 2 count. Hayabusa with another spinning heel kick, a flipping senton, and goes up top for another spinning heel kick for a near fall.
Go on.
Hayabusa stays on the offense with a moonsault, a top rope head scissors takedown, backbreaker, before going for a shooting star press.
Ooh, yeesh. A scary landing.
It was so harsh.
But he flies too far, missing Jushin completely.
Too close to the shooting star. He flew too close to the shooting star
Yeah.
and got burnt.
Shot the moon and kind of missed.
Yeah.
Liger takes advantage, hitting a Liger bomb for the pin.
Ooh.
And no! Hayabusa kicks out.
And it's one of those things like he missed it, but did he mean to miss it? Of
That's
course,
what
nobody
I was
wants to
trying
land
to
on their
figure
face, but then we get this spot right afterwards. And I'm like, oh no. Yeah, some places just let guys wrestle.
Jushin sets him up on the top rope, only for Hayabusa to fight out of trouble. He then dives for a drop kick, but Liger catches him to hit a power bomb. Follows it up with a Fisherman Buster for the pin and the win.
I love to see Liger, fish bust for a pin. I was like, Fisherman Buster for the pin? It's like, this is where the pin should be, but not the move I expected.
Post-match, Jushin would help Hayabusa up, and the two would shake hands.
Yeah, he gives him some water. This is like pre-ice pack era, so it's what kind of used to in New Japan is the ice pack. But, we put over Hayabusa here for good reason.
Yeah, new BFFs.
This was actually Hayabusa's first match back in Japan after an excursion to Mexico.
Hayabusa is Hayabusa Japanese?
He is.
Okay, I've always seen him with the mask on, and I know that he worked a lot in Mexico, so I wasn't sure
He went to Mexico
if he was...
and came up with the character of Hayabusa.
Okay.
And this is his first time coming back. He would actually later go on to become the ace, or top guy, in FMW.
Yes, I know all that.
He would also be the innovator of such moves as the Falcon Arrow.
Nice.
The Firebird 450 Splash.
Okay.
And the Phoenix Splash, which is a corkscrew 450.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, all right. Well,
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is why earlier I told you guys, I was like, I have no clue why this guy is not in the, at least some Hall of Fame that we recognize.
Wow.
But,
I didn't know all that much about him, but holy shit, that explains so much about just the way he performs. I mean, if he's the innovator of all this stuff, eventually becoming the top guy for FMW,
And he's got an iconic look. Like, it's one of those things like, oh, if you've ventured outside of American wrestling at all, you know who Hayabusa is.
I think we do see him a few more times because he comes over to America and does a few things.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much.
Yeah, I don't believe it's a whole lot. And that's the end of round one.
I wonder if I recognize him from in the future and just not now.
Yeah. I believe he always has the same style and mask. But
I think so. I'm not sure. Moving on to our 7th match. Gedo versus Super Delfin in a quarterfinal matchup.
So we've got Michinoku Pro Delfin and Gedo of War.
So the two trade arm locks and single leg crabs with feet on the head to start until Delfin escapes with an enziguri and lands some stiff shots, only for Gedo to no-sell it and the two start trading blows. Super Delfin lands a shot to the midsection before choking Gedo with his boot and starts running the ropes, hitting a head scissors takedown. Delfin goes for a clothesline. Gedo counters with a dropkick, only for Super Delfin to return the favor to send Gedo out to the floor.
And Delfin strikes a pose.
Back in the ring, Delfin with mounted punches in the corner, but Gedo drops him off with a inverted atomic drop to escape before landing multiple stiff kicks. Double arm stretch from Gedo, but Super Delfin escapes by rushing into a corner, driving Gedo's head into the turnbuckle, followed by a snap suplex and a neck breaker for a 2. The two men trade chops when Delfin hits a running dropkick,
Big ass
followed
dropkick.
by a top rope crossbody to the outside. Back in the ring, Super Delfin charges into a corner, only to receive a big boot and a clothesline for a near fall. Gedo goes for a slam, but Delfin counters into a victory roll for a 2 count, followed by an Irish whip that is reversed, allowing Gedo to hit a power slam for a near fall. Another body slam, and Gedo heads up to the second rope for a moonsault. Only a 2 count, though. Goes for a clothesline, only for Super Delfin to reverse it into a crucifix pin for a near fall. Delfin with a bridging back suplex for 2, hits a body slam and comes off the top rope with an elbow drop.
No style. The least stylistic elbow drop I've ever seen.
For another 2 count.
Not to be rude, but I was like,
Dropping basic elbows.
yeah, basic elbows.
Gedo reverses an Irish whip and charges into a big boot. Super Delfin climbs the ropes only for Gedo to charge in again. But Delfin fights him off and hits the Tornado DDT. Super Delfin goes for the cradle pin. But Gedo is smart enough to remember from Delfin's previous match.
Yeah, come on. You
And
know.
he counters it with a cradle pin of his own. For the pin and the win.
We should do a rules, not like rules of wrestling book where it's he who exposes gimmick takes gimmick. Fool me twice, good wrestling. You can't fool me 3 times. Like a Confucius type of thing where it's there's all those things where you're you're just waiting for when you've watched enough wrestling and you're waiting for the thing to happen. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it's better when it doesn't.
So we move on to our 8th match. Black Tiger
Of NJPW.
versus Wild Pegasus.
Of NJPW. First double NJPW match. What could it be?
Another quarterfinal matchup.
There's bad blood. We got middle fingers. We also know that these guys are good friends in real life.
Yes.
So we should all be excited. And that's why they got the vitriol at the beginning, because it's probably going to get good.
This is where it finally registered to me that, oh yeah, that's who Black Tiger is. Because I wasn't really paying too much attention. I was watching the match during the Taka match, but not really studying him as he was moving.
When I first started,
once I saw them in there together, I was like, okay, duh.
Yeah. When I first, I was like, Black Tiger is Jericho, right? And then I was like, wait, no, it's not Jericho. I was like, what? The mustache? Like that's not him. And I was like, oh wait, no, I know who it is. But it took me a couple of matches because I was like, what was Jericho's New Japan name? Was he just
Lionheart?
Lionheart? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You may have noticed that Wild Pegasus didn't have a match in the first round because he received a bye.
There's another
into
man
the
who
quarterfinals.
has a bye as well that we will get to probably next.
Also, we've mentioned before, but again, Wild Pegasus is Chris Benoit. And we saw him last at the G1 Climax 93, episode 97.
Yeah, this is Benoit still with the crooked teeth.
Yes.
So the two men are in each other's spacing. Does a little shoving as they're being announced. As you said, they have bad blood, flipping each other off.
Fingers, yeah.
They started off by trading arm and leg locks until they are simultaneously in leg locks. But Black Tigers is stronger, so he takes control of the match.
Stomps in the face wash.
Before hitting a scoop slam slingshot senton combo, followed by a back suplex and figure 4 neck lock until Wild Pegasus can make the ropes to break the hold.
And I love that in between that stuff, he's still doing stomps to the gut. It's getting gritty.
Black Tiger goes for another suplex, only for Pegasus to float over and hits an inverted suplex. Tiger goes for a tilt-a-whirl, but Wild Pegasus counters, dropping Black Tiger with a clothesline. Pegasus then goes out to the apron to attempt to suplex Tiger out to the floor, only for Black Tiger to counter. But Wild Pegasus floats over again, trying for a German suplex, which Tiger blocks. So Pegasus just throws a charging Black Tiger up in the air to fall face first.
Oh, flat on the face. It's great.
Wild Pegasus with a running knee lift, followed by chops and a slingshot suplex into the ropes, before hitting a bridging German suplex and a snap powerbomb for a 2 count.
I love the spot where they try to do the suplex to the floor, and I'm like, yeah, right. Like, it just never happens. It's hard for me to ever believe it.
Yeah.
Pegasus continues with a snap suplex, goes for the cover, but Tiger gets his boot on the ropes. So Wild Pegasus puts the figure 4 necklock back on, only for Black Tiger to break the hold by making the ropes. Pegasus goes for a running knee lift again, but Tiger counters with a roll-up for 2. Goes to run the ropes, and Wild Pegasus looks to hit a pop-up powerbomb, only for Black Tiger to reverse it into a hurricanrana.
Are you fucking kidding me? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No, that's what really happened.
Yeah, but like, well, when you say it, I'm like, sure. But I saw the thing, and it was wild.
Yeah. Modern times, you would get the holy shit. You would get the fight forever.
Oh, my immediate note after
This
that
is
is
wrestling.
holy shit.
This is
Holy
wrestling.
shit. Yeah, yeah.
Tiger with a bridging German for a 2 count, applies the camel clutch for a moment before hitting a fall-away slam. He goes up top, coming off with a drop kick, only for Pegasus to avoid and hit a back suplex for a near fall. While Pegasus has wrist control and goes for multiple pinfalls, only for Black Tiger to bridge his way back to his feet and hits a springboard head scissor takedown and a super Frankensteiner for a 2 count.
He
For
plants
a
his
2
head
count.
right to the mat. Just like, yeah, it's like a child throwing a rock on the ground.
Yeah. Sorry about the concussion later, probably.
Tiger continues with a vertical suplex, goes for the tornado DDT, only for Pegasus to toss Black Tiger off to the mat. Wild Pegasus then sets Tiger on the top rope, but Tiger headbutts him off to the mat before going for a crossbody. But Pegasus counters that into a power slam for the pin and the win.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, best match? These guys know each other.
Can I say 2 words?
You can say 2 words.
Short list.
This shit's wild.
We'll talk about the short list here in a little while.
I'm loving all the like finishers. It makes so much sense for a tournament where people are getting like surprise pins or finding like a chink in the armor of the other guy to get the pins. So like nobody looks particularly like weak for most of their losses. It's just incredibly well booked.
Do you know how awesome it is of only being a fan of these two in their later career to finally get to see the two of them
Really go for
Yeah.
it. Like they're like youngest and most like not like they're too young to be bitter about the business. They're just they're putting it all out there.
they're trying to steal
And
the
they're
show.
getting both. They're doing their best to get each other over in a foreign land, even.
Yep. And
And,
making it look effortlessly.
And yeah, and you know what they did?
They did it.
They fucking did it. They fucking did it.
So we head to our 9th match. The Great Suzuki versus El Samurai in
Yeah.
a quarter-final matchup.
El Samurai of New Japan, great Sasuke.
Sasuke.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
It's like Shinsuke and Asuka.
Yeah, Sasuke.
No use.
Sasuke. Of Michinoku Pro. And we got Sasuke with the double mask. Which we see to this day in New Japan, where guys have come into the ring and have a mask and take the other mask off. Looking at you, Despy, and who's the other guy?
Bushi.
Bushi.
I'm like,
Sorry,
oh.
I apologize, Bushi.
Like I've seen Rey
Yeah,
Mysterio
it's
wear a
just
mask
Bushi.
under a mask.
Yeah, but you know, Los Ingonables.
Seen Johnny B. Bad wear a mask under a mask.
Sasuke also received a bye into the quarterfinals, just like Wild Pegasus. And the match gets going with Samurai dodging a kick.
If you can dodge a duck, you can dodge a dive.
After some back and forth, Sasuke takes El Samurai down and starts working on the leg. but Samurai makes the ropes to break the hold.
I mean, I would just be going straight for guys' knees. These guys, they got trampolines in their shoes.
Gotta slow him down.
Uh-huh.
More mat work as El Samurai counters the leg work with a cross arm breaker. But the great Sasuke escapes quickly. Samurai lands multiple hard strikes to Sasuke's leg before applying an ankle lock. When the great Sasuke tries to fight out, El Samurai turns it into a butterfly lock to trap all the appendages.
I love him just starting to crank those legs. Like, it's one thing to put like an ankle lock on, but it's another thing to just get those jerks in.
Yep.
Samurai rams Sasuke's knee into the mat, forcing him to roll out to regroup. Back in the ring, El Samurai stays on the offense with a body slam, applies Doink the Clown's submission, the stump puller.
Wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, God.
That's the only place I'd ever seen it before, and I was like, oh, I've seen that.
Yeah.
But it was Doink the Clown.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the real name of it was.
The stump puller is funny.
Only for Sasuke to escape by powering Samurai's ankle over his knee.
How weird would it be?
Oh, I love that it's like, oh, you got a leg lock on me? Well, what about your leg? I can reach your shit.
How weird of a world would it be if and maybe it is that way, but
Doink the Clown showed up in Japan.
well, no, that over here in the States, you've got people who are bringing over the Michinoku driver and all these moves from Japan. What if in Japan they bring over moves from the States like
The stump pull.
the stump puller
Uh-huh.
and I'm trying to think of
Other ones.
the leg drop.
I mean, I guess
don't know.
I guess there's the DDT, which supposedly
Was Jake's.
everybody says oh yeah, Jake.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but we're like, yeah, everybody agrees that Jake came up
Wasn't
with
it
it.
just an accident for the DDT? Didn't he just slip in the ring and
Who knows?
it caught on?
I don't know exactly.
You know who couldn't tell you?
Jake the Snake.
You got it.
You know who probably could? DDP.
DDP.
While doing yoga.
Oh, he can tell you too much, more than you'd like to know.
What about the Diamond Cutter?
I don't know. Was it used before?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
We really haven't. I mean, we just saw the first stunner. So
Yeah.
that kind of move really doesn't feel like a move yet.
Yeah, it's like what I feel like we're about to get to a spot where it's like, oh, that's a thing, but it becomes so big that like other people just can't use it.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get here in a couple of years to a point where the world is stealing from each other as far as wrestling goes anyway, because it's blowing up so big. So yeah, I guess we'll see what starts to pop up where. Anywho.
El Samurai recovers to go right back to work on the leg, but Great Sasuke grabs a leg lock as well and becomes a race to the ropes to break the hold. Sasuke rolls out to regroup once again, but once they're back in, he receives a back suplex, a Russian leg sweep, and a submission move that just looks extremely painful. Great Sasuke manages to escape, and the two men start trading strikes until Sasuke drops Samurai with a handspring back elbow
Pop, pop.
that sends El Samurai out to the floor.
Oh, Samurai loves the floor.
We get the Sasuke special, which is a handspring flip over the ropes for a plancha onto Samurai, and the
Feet.
crowd is going nuts.
He's the feet right to the face of El Samurai. And it's one of those things where it's like, all right, El Samurai, New Japan, but Great Sasuke is so over. The crowd is just chanting Sasuke over and over again.
God damn it, Michael. Now I've got magnitude in my head going pop, pop.
Pop. I love saying pop, pop.
Sasuke makes it back to the ring first, tries to bring El Samurai in with a suplex, only for him to float over, start running the ropes, but Great Sasuke hits a spinning heel kick for a 2 count. Samurai with a clothesline and a drop kick to send Sasuke to the floor, following out with a tope kongiro. Great Sasuke finally makes it back in for El Samurai to hit a bridging German suplex.
I love that Taka's on the floor, fucking there for his brother.
Yep.
Followed by a diving headbutt for a near fall. Samurai goes for a power bomb, only for Sasuke to reverse it into a Frankensteiner.
Oh,
for
use
a
those
2 count.
legs for that roll up.
Great Sasuke with a body slam goes up top, but El Samurai meets him there,
He's up fast.
getting Sasuke into an electric chair position.
Woo.
Only for Great Sasuke to counter into a sunset flip power bomb for a near fall.
It's hot. It's hot in here.
Samurai ducks a spinning heel kick, hits a thunder fire power bomb for the pin, And
No!
Sasuke kicks out. El Samurai then charges in for a running Frankensteiner, but great Sasuke rolls through for the pin and the win.
This shit is beautiful.
Yeah. So the Michinoku
Pro?
yeah. Like, what the hell was their exact company called?
Yeah.
Is that Taka's like father's company, or Taka started up himself?
Yeah, I know. I always have this thing where I'm like, well, is that Taka's thing or not? He lost in the first round. We know Sasuke, because we just talked about it, was like the...
Because him being as young as he... I'm assuming as young as he is there, I wouldn't see him being one running it, but then...
It was founded by great Sasuke in 1993.
Oh, okay.
It was primarily focused on the lucha libre style, mini wrestlers, don masks. Does not say why it was named that.
Maybe he was their star.
Well, I believe that
People, or-
Michinoku...
Or does that just mean something?
I thought Michinoku might mean something in Japanese. Oh, Michinoku means end of the road. And, you know, insert Boyz II Men.
End of the road driver. Huh?
Yeah, the end of the road driver. But yeah, in ancient times, the northeastern Tohoku region of Japan was known as Michinoku, meaning end of the road.
Huh. So yeah, maybe it's just a regional name.
It might just be like, oh, this is like the area in
Michinoku
Japan
territory.
or whatever, yeah. So, but I thought that Michinoku might have been Michinoku is not a rank in sumo, is it? No, it's Makushita. I think Michinoku might also be used in... There's not a lot of anime I've ever gotten into, but there's one called Hajime no Ippo. And I believe that maybe that's his last name. It's been a while since I watched it, but it's a boxing anime that's very good.
Like, I know Makushla or whatever from $1 Million Baby. Which, you know, brings it back to the whole boxing thing.
Yeah, totally. I highly suggest Hajime no Ippo, The Fighting Spirit. Very good shit.
Because like Michinoku is not actually Taka's real name.
Oh, is it not?
It's a ring name.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense then.
Yeah, they were preening him as the ace, maybe,
So we're headed to our 10th match. Ricky Fuji
of FMW.
versus Jushin Thunder Liger.
The man, the name,
myth,
the J,
the legend.
the J in the cup.
In another quarterfinal matchup.
We get a handshake, as Liger is wont to do.
They go back and forth to start with some technical exchanges, leading to Liger looking to win a knuckle lock, test of strength, only for Ricky to flip Jushin over for a quick pin attempt. Fuji escapes a headlock before drop-kicking Liger out to the floor, following out with a plancha and a powerbomb. Back in the ring, Ricky stays on the attack with a running uppercut, a snap suplex, and goes up top for a crossbody, but Jushin catches him with a showtie. Liger's up first and hits a bulldog before tossing Fuji to the floor, where he continues by slamming Ricky before coming off the top turnbuckle with a double foot stomp.
I mean, come on, the double foot stomp I was not ready for. It just didn't. It like cut off the flow that you would. I was like, oh, he's gonna a flip or wait or something, but no, he just like the immediacy of just like dropping right down.
Yep. And then there's me on my couch with my whole "Let's go Liger."
Back in the ring, Jushin hits a kapoo kick, makes the cover, but Fuji is in the ropes. So Liger hits a powerbomb and a release German suplex for a 2 count.
Yeah.
Liger with a drop kick in the corner goes for a superplex, but Ricky floats over to land on top for a near fall. Fuji then sets Jushin up on the top rope, climbs up to drop kick Liger to the floor before following out with a baseball slide drop kick. Jushin rolls back in, but is immediately met with a back suplex. Ricky then sets Liger on the top rope again, but this time Jushin punches him off, leaping off with a hurricanrana for the pin and the win.
And it was so quick. There's so much in 8 minutes. There's so many small things that we missed here that are just small, but the small stuff's important in wrestling. But I love like Fuji like taking a bump to the back of his neck, and like as he's getting up, he's just like hitting himself in the back of the neck to be like, all right, get into this. He's like,
That's
you still got it.
Shake it off. Walk it off.
Mm-hmm. Goddamn.
We're then going to our 11th match.
We're going to the semis, right? Semifinals.
Semifinals.
I gotta say, how often is it that you're at the 11th match and you're not tired of watching the show that you're on?
I don't know. Like, to be honest, I watched WrestleMania 10 in one evening.
Uh-huh.
There was no way I was going to stop it.
Yeah,
I watched this show in one evening.
Yeah, it's
I just
not
was
too
like,
often.
okay, well, I was like, well, it's kind of late, but like, there's no way. I was like, I'll save the final maybe for like tomorrow. It's like, no, you're just gonna do it.
Yeah, most shows I watch in one sitting, and there's usually about 4 or 5 spots through it that I either want to fast forward or I find myself distracted, looking on my phone, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, this
Not
ain't
here.
one of them.
Not here.
I can understand.
It's also
why
a
this
tournament
is
in
the most
one
traded around
evening, too.
videotape in history.
Yeah.
But this 11th match is Gedo versus Wild Pegasus.
We got Gedo of War and Wild Pegasus of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
So Gedo starts running the ropes. So Pegasus goes for a monkey flip, only for Gedo to hold onto the ropes to avoid. Wild Pegasus then kips up and the two trade slaps.
Did you have the mental note of like, oh, I can't even think of who it is in New Japan that always does like the rope hold? And I'm like, Yano, yeah. And I'm like, oh, Yano was probably on some Gedo shit.
Pegasus then hits a clothesline, a neck breaker, second rope leg drop for a 2 count, goes for a drop kick, but again Gedo holds onto the ropes to avoid.
Yeah, we get a chant early on, but I'm not sure who it's for. Like, I couldn't quite call it.
Gedo locks on a double chicken wing, only for Pegasus to quickly make the ropes. But Gedo goes right back to it, and it takes Wild Pegasus a bit longer to make the ropes the second time. Gedo with a pile driver for a 2 count, rakes the eyes multiple times before drop kicking Pegasus out to the floor. Gedo comes off the top rope with a moonsault to continue the attack as the crowd is chanting for him.
Foot lands right on Wild Pegasus' head. Like, heel to the forehead.
Back in the ring, Gedo tosses Wild Pegasus to the ropes, hits a power slam for a near fall, followed by a bridging Northern Lights suplex for a 2 count.
Damn.
Gedo heads up top for a diving headbutt, but doesn't land anywhere close to Pegasus.
The Pegasus is like clear across the ring.
Yeah.
He's not getting a coast-to-coast flying headbutt.
Wild Pegasus goes for a back suplex, but Gedo counters to land on top for a 2 count. The two duck each other's clotheslines. They then trade waist locks until Pegasus finally gains control to hit a powerbomb for a near fall. Wild Pegasus hits another powerbomb and then goes up top.
I know.
For a top rope.
I got scared. I was like,
Falling
you can't go to the top.
Headbutt for the pin and the win.
I really was like, he's gonna go to the top because he's like, I just need to get this guy down. I'm gonna go to the top, and then Gato's gonna pull it out. But no,
Not today.
but not today.
Not today.
I know. This is the best Gato match so far on the show. I think,
I've
personally.
only seen 3 Gedo matches, and yeah, this one was great.
I have only seen 3 Gato matches worth talking about, but I have seen
true.
I have seen Gato as the ring man in New Japan because he's booked, but he's also like kind of an enforcer.
He's the Jimmy Hart of New Japan.
He's a Jimmy Hart, but like with a kendo stick kind of thing.
That's Jado.
Gedo,
yes,
Gedo.
that's true. Uh-huh,
They're
yeah.
brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like potato, tomato. I guess that really works. Gedo.
So we're off to our 12th match. Great Sasuke versus Jushin Thunder Liger.
And I'd like to say that I'm kind of loving that we're getting to the semis and the matches are getting shorter, which makes sense because these guys have had matches earlier in the night. So they're putting it all out there, but like,
So that's what
can
I was
they
gonna
really
ask. I didn't
go
know if
longer?
This was the same day, or if they did it like
Oh,
the.
everything we
Okay.
watched is all the same show, which is crazy. Which is like, I feel like it's like, oh, kayfabe. Like, the matches are going to be shorter because these guys are tired. And they've already, put it all out there.
Yeah, the matches get shorter, but yeah. They don't get more dull.
They don't. There's not less stuff that happens.
No.
So the two men shake hands, and surprisingly, at least to me, Sasuke's getting more cheers.
I know than Liger. Liger has always been maybe the most selfless person in wrestling.
So the two men started off with a chain wrestling exchange that ends in a stalemate and loud applause. Liger gains an advantage momentarily with a knuckle lock, only for Great Sasuke to come back by applying pressure to Jushin's thighs and legs with different submissions. Liger counters that into a surfboard before applying the Romero special, before adding cranking on the neck with a dragon sleeper for extra measure.
Put him away.
Back to their feet, Jushin with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker and begins to target the back of Sasuke with a camel clutch, elbows, and a kappu kick.
Sasuke, Sasuke, Sasuke. This is also where the crowd was chanting for him. That's why I was doing that.
At first, I thought
wasn't
you were
reminding
trying to
that.
remind him how to say it.
No such thing.
The ref backs Liger up to check on the ailing Great Sasuke as he's slow to get to his feet. But once he does, Jushin is right back on the offensive with a stiff forearm, a tombstone pile driver, before locking on a cross-face chicken wing.
Oh, the cross-face chicken wing. It's like we got old Bob Backlund represented here in
I know. It's
Japan.
If for some reason we all just decide to quit our jobs and open a pickup chicken spot, cross-face chicken wings.
It's not a bad name.
We need a good Japanese pickup chicken spot here in Oklahoma City because the one that we have just can't seem to open up already.
We got the cross-face chicken wings. There's scallions on everything.
Liger starts working the arm with a pair of arm breakers, rolling it into a Kimura lock, wrenching as hard as possible before transitioning into a cross arm breaker.
Poor Sasuke.
Jushin hits another arm breaker, a back suplex, and goes up top, coming off with a drop kick. But Sasuke catches him mid-air with a drop kick of his own, sending Liger out to the floor.
Ooh, well, yeah, looks like Jushin. It looks like Jushin kind of got more of it.
Yeah,
Just saying.
I always cringe anytime there's a drop kick as somebody's coming off the rope because I just always expect the worst to happen, and that one hit.
Yeah,
Very
Jushin went to the
nice.
floor, but I think that his connected a little harder.
Great Sasuke looks like he's going for a plancha,
Hop to that apron.
but he jumps over to the apron, kicks Jushin before hitting an Asai moonsault.
It's perfect.
Sasuke tries for a suplex back into the ring, but Liger blocks, so Great Sasuke slams his head into the turnbuckle, dropping Jushin back to the floor, while Sasuke gets a running start to jump onto the top rope and fly off with a senton to land on top of Liger.
It's like a swan senton.
Back in the ring, Great Sasuke keeps it up with some knee drops, spinning heel kick, and a pile driver for a 2 count, followed by a Thunder Fire powerbomb for the pin, and no! Jushin kicks out.
And Jushin's got the shakes. He's got the little leg shakes. He's hurt.
Sasuke continues with a leg drop,
Oh, the leg drop right to the back of the head of Liger.
tombstone pile driver, goes up top for another senton, but Liger moves in time, only for Great Sasuke to roll through, and the two men start running the ropes, where Jushin hits a show tie for a 2 count. Liger bomb for a near fall. Jushin with a super Frankenstein,
Sasuke.
only for Sasuke to roll over for a 2 count of his own.
The crowd is wild over here.
Liger with a release German.
Ugh.
Fisherman Buster, all for near falls.
We saw what the Fisherman Buster did earlier. He had that cocky pin off that German, too. It's like, Jushin, you gotta grab the legs.
Jushin then suplexes Great Sasuke over the ropes to the floor.
I know.
Following out with a top rope plancha.
It's like we were just talking about it earlier. It's like, oh, well, they just never do the suplex to the floor. But, like, it had to happen on this show.
Yeah.
And it happened in this match, and it was awesome.
It was beautiful.
Once Sasuke reaches the apron, Jushin with a kappu kick and signals for the end. But Great Sasuke recovers and leaps up onto the ropes, only to slip and faceplant into the ring.
Oh, my gosh.
Liger begins to taunt, but that gives Sasuke time to recover, hitting a Frankensteiner for the pin and the win.
Didn't know how over Sasuke was.
Yeah.
Love that he fought from underneath the whole time. Got the flash pin on Liger. Liger got cocky.
Yeah, I thought Liger was going to get his second little win here with somebody making a whoops off the rope.
I know, and it's his tournament. Yep. But like I said, the most selfless man in wrestling, Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah. So we head to our main event.
Ugh.
The finals, our 13th match, Great Sasuke versus Wild Pegasus. And this match happened literally 5 minutes after the other match.
That's bananas. Fucking, wow. Yeah, so we got Wild Pegasus, an American guy in New Japan Pro Wrestling at the top of the first Super J Cup versus the Great Sasuke, the ace of Michinoku Pro. I mean, come on.
Prepare for a banger.
Yeah, Liger just nailing himself to a fucking cross. Fucking lightweight wrestling Jesus over here.
So the two men trade arm locks and headlocks. When Pegasus goes for a snapmare, only for Sasuke to land on his feet, charge in with a kick, but Wild Pegasus catches it. So Great Sasuke does a standing flip, followed by a quick takedown and a kip up, leading to another standoff.
And damn.
And we're off.
Pegasus chopping away in the corner, goes for an Irish whip, which is reversed, with Sasuke charging in and kick flipping off of Wild Pegasus' chest. So Pegasus charges out, only for Great Sasuke to leapfrogging. Wild Pegasus then grabs his legs for a Boston Crab, but Sasuke powers out and hits a spinning heel kick to send Pegasus out to the ring.
He does that. I love that. When you just whip them with your legs. They go for the crab, and you're just like, no, not today.
Great Sasuke looks to go for a dive, but Wild Pegasus just moves out of the way, so Sasuke thinks twice. Back in the ring, Pegasus gets a figure 4 necklock applied, only for Great Sasuke to reverse it into a bow and arrow hold, followed by wrenching on both arms.
And we see, the New Japan and the Michinoku guys, around the ring. We get Liger and Taka, just, the camera makes sure to catch them.
Back on their feet, Sasuke kicks Wild Pegasus in the gut, and he starts running the ropes, somersaulting over a monkey flip attempt, only to walk into a clothesline and a bridging German suplex for a 2 count. Pegasus misses a clothesline, allowing Sasuke to hit a spinning heel kick. Hits one more, followed by a body slam and a leg drop for a near fall. Great Sasuke applies a Kimura lock before transitioning into a cross arm breaker when Wild Pegasus gets to his feet and looks for a powerbomb, only for Great Sasuke to reverse it into an arm drag, but Pegasus retaliates with a clothesline.
Yeah, what the fuck? I've never seen that before. Have you?
No.
Come on. And like I said, the camera's picking up everybody. It's picking up Delfin and Samurai and Gedo. Everybody's here to watch the main event.
And that just makes it feel that much bigger.
Too. Yeah. These guys are like, all right, well, I left it all out there. I know what these guys are made of. What's up here?
Yep.
Wild Pegasus with a front suplex into the ropes, putting Great Sasuke on the apron. Pegasus then hits a springboard forearm that sends them both out to the floor.
360, baby.
Back in the ring, Wild Pegasus hits a bridging dragon suplex for a near fall, followed by a diving headbutt and a folding powerbomb for 2 counts.
Sasuke.
He then locks on the sharpshooter, only to release it to hit a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker for another near fall.
10-minute call.
Pegasus tosses Sasuke to the ropes, goes for a dropkick, but Great Sasuke holds onto the ropes. So then Sasuke goes for a tilt-a-whirl, only for Wild Pegasus to land on his feet. So Great Sasuke goes for a leg lariat that is ducked before hitting a clothesline.
Oh my god.
Sasuke charges in for another clothesline, but Pegasus ducks and hits a bridging German suplex for the pin. And no! Great Sasuke kicks out.
Game over, Chris.
Wild Pegasus looks for another dragon suplex, only for Sasuke to counter it into a victory roll. But Pegasus reverses and just sits down on Great Sasuke for a near fall.
Nice job there, Peggy.
Wild Pegasus sends Sasuke to the corner, only for him to leap up and off the ropes with a crossbody, before a spinning heel kick sends Pegasus out to the floor, followed by a Sasuke special.
The crowd is ready.
Back in the ring, Great Sasuke lands a bridging German and a perfect plex for a 2 count. Goes for a missile drop kick, only for Wild Pegasus to just shove it away.
He just swats it off.
So Sasuke rolls out to the apron. Pegasus attempts to suplex him back into the ring.
He just meets him at the apron. He's like, oh, you're not getting away.
But he's blocked and reversed, sending Wild Pegasus crashing out to the floor.
Superplex to the floor from the apron on Wild Pegasus. Fuck.
Once Pegasus makes it back in, Great Sasuke drop kicks him back out to the floor, leaping off the top with a missile drop kick as well.
And Great Sasuke is selling his little leg.
It looks like he legitimately was hurt as he's limping around, making his way back into the ring. But he slams Wild Pegasus before hitting a twisting somersault splash. Basically a twisted bliss.
Oh, yeah.
For a 2 count. Great Sasuke heads up top again, only for Pegasus to meet him there, grabbing him for an avalanche back suplex. But Sasuke elbows him away and continues the climb to the top. While Pegasus is back to his feet and jumps up to the top rope, grabbing Sasuke to hit an avalanche gut wrench suplex for the pin and the win. And Wild Pegasus is your Super J Cup winner.
I love the flash finishes. Holy shit, what a way to end an evening with that basically German from the top to the mat.
Wow.
So, gentlemen, I ask you, what are your overall thoughts of Super J Cup first stage?
Best show, most influential show. Lots of kicking out of big moves, but which I can see being complaint by the more traditional wrestling fans, and this being a hot tape in the 90s and maybe influencing people to do too much. But you can't blame the first guys that did it.
No.
Because I'll be goddamned if this wasn't, if there wasn't a match on here that's not worth your time. And if you've never seen this show, I would highly suggest watching it in order from first match to last match. I think that there's great stuff in here that in a vacuum by itself is great, but it's not as great outside of the experience of the evening they curated in fucking Sumo Hall, Ryogoku, in 1994 in Japan. It's wild.
I can't think of, my initial thought is to say because my brain kept doing that the entire time of watching the show, because I'm used to good match, bad match, good match.
Yes.
Okay match. All right, I got to go to the bathroom match. Okay, here's another good match. And this one was just all right, this one caught my attention starting off with Dean Malenko, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing. And then I get the awesomeness of Pegasus and Black Tiger together, and then just when I think that's the height it's going to be, then the next match
Liger
comes
and
along,
Sasuke.
and the next match comes along, and
if it was Liger and Sasuke for the last match, would have been great. Mm-hmm. But there's something kind of extra special that Liger didn't make it, and you're either of these guys could win. The crowd is not chanting Wild Pegasus.
No,
they are not chanting Wild Pegasus. Wild Pegasus won.
Yeah,
that's fucking awesome.
So about halfway through this show, I told myself I can't put all these matches on the short list.
There's
then it's not really a short list, right?
It's just best show.
But the majority of them would be on it if any of these matches were just another match on any other show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when you put them all on this one thing, it's kind of which ones do you go, okay, that's the short list, that's the...
can we put an entire show as a short list match? Just watch the entire
just watch this show. I mean,
our short list episode is just a replay of this episode.
I would highly suggest that everybody watch this show immediately.
Yeah.
But I would say that the least good matches on the show are Malenko, Gedo, and probably Negro Casas and Fuji. If I had to cut two, I would cut those two, but they're by no means bad, and they are 8 minutes, 16 minutes total inside of one of the most
You lose absolutely nothing by watching them.
No. All they really do is add to the rest of the show.
Yep.
But if I had to be like, okay, well, these are the ones that weren't great, like probably, or like were those, but they were still good wrestling matches.
So the question is this the best show we've ever watched?
I mean,
I think so.
I think that like this and WrestleMania 10 are two of the best shows we've watched that in completely different ways. What we're saying here is we're on a roll in professional wrestling in Japan, in the United States of America, and I know what's coming, and I am so bummed. The Orange Goblin might take away some of my big baby boys. Some of my, like, right now, WCW has some of my favorite guys, and I love what they've been doing. I love that Ric Flair's back behind the book, but I mean, as far as a one-night tournament, which we've talked up so much, how much we love those, this is the one.
Yeah.
I love the Wrestling Classic. I love
WrestleMania 4.
WrestleMania 4, but this is not even comparable because it's a different style of wrestling.
Yeah.
Smaller guys, more energetic style,
More unknown guys.
higher spots, people really trying to grab the brass rings. And everything works.
It's like one of those where, I don't remember which show it was, where, was it Jim Herd or whoever took over that basically said, go out there and have the best match and get extra money. You know, it's kind of like they had that clause there, and everybody went out there with the mentality of, I'm going to steal the show, or we're going to steal the show, and this is what's going to be the most memorable.
It's also one of those things like, hey, we're smaller guys. This is the first time we've had something like this. It's in New Japan, the biggest promotion in Japan at the time, and it's interpromotional. So these guys are also, it's like, hey, did you like what I did? Well, I'm from FMW. I'm from Michinoku Pro. Like, you're gonna. This is where you're gonna see me.
Here now.
Yeah.
I see the next week note there.
But yeah, I mean, like, this is the shit we are waiting for all the time.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up, which we've kind of already been doing.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Some other best moments?
I mean, Black Tiger, Wild Pegasus, just because of the vitriol.
Yeah.
Because they had the friendship, so it feels like that they had, like, kind of the best chemistry. That match has the best chemistry because these guys know each other. They watched each other. They've talked about the stuff. They've talked about wrestling. They know wrestling.
They've helped each other get there.
They've seen each other wrestle. They probably wrestled each other before or tagged before. Like, they know each other.
So I literally put, like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, Taka, Black Tiger, short list.
Yeah.
And then I, like, 3 matches later, it's like Hayabusa versus Liger.
Short list.
Short list.
Yeah.
Sasuke.
That was going to be my other one, too.
Black
Black
Tiger
Tiger,
versus
Wild
Pegasus. Short list.
Liger.
Sasuke, El Samurai. It's pretty close.
Yeah. But then you get Liger, and you're like, okay, well, if Liger and
Sasuke Liger,
it didn't
short
happen.
list.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Liger, Pegasus, Sasuke. Short list.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
that's half the show I would put on the short list.
Yep.
Yeah.
That tells you
everything.
Yeah. The
that
Liger...
the best moments is just everything.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, every match is better because of the last one.
I mean, literally the Black Tiger Taka match, 8 minutes, and how much stuff they just, like, poured into that match.
Without it feeling, like, silly.
Exactly.
Because I have a problem with, like, people doing a lot of stuff and it feeling silly.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. There's great wrestling that is done all the time. But the thing that keeps me away from, like, loving it, I'm impressed by it, but is because there's, like, it feels silly. This doesn't feel silly. It doesn't feel as, like, silly seems mean or lame of me to say, but more planned, and this feels more organic. Is the better way for me to put it. It feels less like a Jackie Chan fight scene and more like a wrestling match, except for these guys don't care about themselves. They don't care about their bodies. They just want to win. It's a tournament.
Yeah, I have to keep looking at his name because I can't remember how to pronounce it. The Hayabusa and Liger match. That one was like I said before, a real life Power Ranger fight in the ring. And that's what made it so exciting.
And the thing that kind of like put it over the edge is the like small botches and stuff where a guy flips to the floor and hurts himself. But the thing is, they don't even take the time to tell. Is like, hey, since I got hurt, I'm gonna since I took this landing poorly, I'm gonna sell it. It's just like their brains are all firing at the highest level.
Yeah, I mean,
it's crazy.
Literally one of my favorite moments in the Sasuke Liger match.
Sasuke falls.
Sasuke falls, and instead of, because that was my big complaint about the last time we saw Liger in Tiger Mask, is that Tiger Mask missed that and they just didn't play it up at all. They just moved to the next spot.
But this was even faster.
That was my biggest complaint about that match.
Yeah.
This time, Liger went, oh, he messed up. Let me taunt for a second, because he can literally just. It gives him time to recover. He stands up and he hits the same move that he was going to hit.
Yes.
But just not a springboard version.
Yep. No.
It still works.
It works better, honestly. Because it's like, oh, he got a little too... And then because he did that, he got too big for his britches by taunting. And you know who ate the pin? It's just intelligent. Is the kind of thing. It's like, oh, it's fine if you do cool stuff for 10 minutes. But the intelligence is here in the biggest spots where you really need it. It does come through. It's like these guys are just galaxy brain. Isn't that like a meme or something like that? But these guys are their brains are firing on all cylinders here. They ate their Wheaties.
Is there anything disappointing on this show?
I will say the only thing disappointing to me about this show is that this show is not one video that I can watch as its original broadcast. That's my only complaint. Is that it's not the original broadcast with the breaks and the graphics and stuff. And that's not a complaint. That just means that I want more to make it feel even bigger than it already felt.
I would have to stop in between and go to the next one. I just want it to continuously flow.
If this was a 2.5 hour tape as opposed to the single matches, that's the only thing I think that could really make it better.
Yeah, I mean that's really my only thing there was.
And Liger not winning only makes it better. And the guy that wasn't being chanted for in the last match winning only makes it better.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's more of a disappointment in myself that I watched the wrong one that didn't have the English translation.
You can always go back and
I can always watch it.
All it really was them kind of.
It just meant I sat on the edge of my seat more and watched the TV because I didn't have to listen to what people were saying. Yeah, there's really no disappointment in this show at all.
Completely.
Yeah, I mean, we are firing on all cylinders over here at Wrestling History X.
Yeah. Booker man, whoever you were, great job.
It was Liger, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it was Liger.
But
so you were actually serious when you said this was his.
Yeah, it was
he created the tournament.
He created the tournament
and sold it to New Japan and was like, "Hey, I want to do this."
See, I thought you were just saying Super J, Jushin.
No.
Playing that whole thing there.
He came up with it. He is the.
He literally wanted
junior.
this tournament for 11 years.
Wow.
He'd been trying to get it off the ground, and he finally was able to.
Great job.
And he was like, okay, well he picked the guys and probably booked the winners. He probably didn't book the finishes.
Way to go!
I imagine those other guys booked the finishes.
Mr.
Maybe not.
WWE
I don't know.
Hall of Fame member.
It doesn't. It's lightning in a bottle. Yeah. Really, it really is.
So who's our best performer of the night?
I mean, we can do
throw a dart.
Yeah, it's we can
right.
we can be okay, well,
I mean, if
Pegasus, Sasuke, Liger, Black Tiger.
If
I think
Hayabusa?
I think that's 1 through 5 right there.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, you can kind of put them all in the same place and then give the honorable mention to Hayabusa.
I mean, if this tournament is the result of Liger, I'm gonna give it to him just for putting this shit together.
I mean, yeah.
Plus, he
For
wrestled
sure.
3 times.
Holy
Yes,
shit.
he did. He wrestled 3 times and didn't put himself over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And had holy shit moments in each of the matches that he had from start to finish.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we will talk about these shows, and it's like, okay, well, I watched the show, I took notes, and Matt's going through the match, but I could see almost every spot.
Yeah.
I could see almost every spot, and I could even see moments that were like not touched upon, that were small in-between moments that is good pro wrestling.
I didn't have to be distracted
Like facial
by...
moments, Ricky Fuji slapping the back of his neck to pump himself up, Liger getting cocky, like some of the stuff that, we can't just sit here and tell you absolutely every single fucking time the guy flexed a finger.
Yeah.
But I can see the stuff in my head.
Most shows I'm distracted by, or not really distracted by, I'm less interested in what's happening in the ring, and I find myself paying attention to the audience and finding like the little old lady in the front row that was drinking a beer that, she was so sweet and fun.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, this had so much stuff happening inside the ring and around the ring that there was no need to look anywhere else.
There's zero fat.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
How about surprising?
That Pegasus won.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Because when I was because I had to click through to watch the matches in order, and I realized that it was Sasuke and Pegasus.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I assumed Liger was going to be in the last match, so I got bummed out when I realized that, because I was just kind of trying to go through it quick, and Liger losing, I was like, oh, that's so very Liger of you. And then, but Pegasus winning, especially considering how behind how deep the crowd was in for Sasuke, Pegasus winning, I was just like, oh damn, I'm so glad that I didn't know the outcome of that match.
I was kind of surprised Gedo got as far as he did.
Yeah, because he's the
At the
least...
time he wasn't a New Japan guy, so...
Yeah, he's the least impressive of maybe one of... He's on the lower rung of this evening. Just this evening of the entire tournament, but it's one night. But his matches do get better as they go on. I will say that.
Agreed.
What if this whole tournament here inspired his booking career for the future?
It could have, honestly. Honestly, it could have, and I would appreciate it if he started working in some more flash pins into his booking. Just saying it.
Making their way to the ring.
It's trivia time. This week, the category is What's in a Name?
It's just a name, a name, a name, a name. What's in a name?
There's a Green Day song. What's in a name? Hey. I don't know what song it is, but
There's a me and a name.
I will give you the real name of a wrestler. You tell me who it is. 5 points for a correct answer. 3 points if we go to multiple choice.
All right.
The name is Michael Maurice Smith.
Michael Maurice Smith.
I have a guess, but I don't want to do it. It's worth it for me to go to multiple choice. Maybe. You want to agree to multiple choice?
Let's go for it.
All right, going to multiple choice. Your options are Bill Dundee, Boris Zukov, Hillbilly Jim, or Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
That is correct.
You know what?
I was thinking that because I remembered Jake's last name was actually Smith.
Yeah. I'm not mad that you got it. I'm mad because I am the Sam Houston stan. I love Sam Houston. He bumps he bumps like a frog, man. And I am sad because I love Sam Houston, but I am, good. It's good. It's not what I had in my mind at all.
Next week, Spring Stampede 1994.
Woo!
Headed to Chicago.
Yep. Yeah, get you a new cowboy hat. Get on the bullet train to Chicago.
Yeah.
Round up some friends and watch some decent wrestling.
It's not a bunkhouse stampede. I promise.
It is definitely not a bunkhouse.
I mean, we are on a roll, and I mean it. You should watch this show.
I'm looking forward to it.
Music from this week's show is The Score by Emerson, Lake, and Powell. And Wild Pegasus won the main event, so we're going to play his theme music at the time was Jump, DJ Power Mix by Eskimo.
Oh, okay. When you said Jump, I was like, was he coming out
Chris
to Van
Cross.
Halen? Might as well jump. I love Jump.
I like how you go for Van Halen, I go for Crisscross.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Chris Cross would probably make more sense at the time period, maybe. But I don't know. I have any idea what song you're talking about. Because we didn't get it in the... Yeah.
You can hear it right now.
Oh, okay. Is it good?
It's not bad.
Okay.
It's your normal Japanese, like, remix version of a song.
Okay.
Like, that kind of style.
Mm.
So is it like DJ Power or is it DJ Power Mix?
That I don't know. If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there and rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts at. You can always email us any questions, comments, concerns, recipes.
Recipes are always good.
As I mentioned.
I need some recipes. I need to make some shit.
And you can do that at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO.
Watch Japanese wrestling. If you don't think you like wrestling, just watch some Japanese wrestling.
Do it.
Sayonara.
Yes.
Bye.
Laters.
In Japanese.